I'm Brent Bergherm, and thank you for joining me in my long-awaited, I guess, follow-up to the Peak Design 13. It's the Messenger 13 bag. And my first video, I'll give you a little link right here so you can go back and look at that first if you would like to. I talked about this bag as I was preparing for a trip last year, and then time got away from me, and here we are almost a year later. I am preparing for another trip, and while this bag is great, I'm going to do a quick review on this bag again just to really preview it, but then I'm going to go into the other bag. I'll switch and go into the other bag and show you why I like that one just a slight bit better and why I think it's better suited for me. So let's dive right into it with this bag. Just a few things on the outside to remind ourselves. On the strap, it is a non-removable strap, and if you need to change the length of it, you've got these little doodads that will come out and slide in just like so, and so that can shorten the strap for you, lengthen the strap. You also have an item on this side which gives you the ability to shorten it and lengthen it to the exact length, the exact dimension that you want. It also has this little pull-up thing, which I wish added a little bit of extra tension when it was closed, but all it does is snap into position and to keep it out of the way, and it's just a convenient little handle. I found this item to loosen just a little bit as I was jostling along the way, trying to, go from place to place as I'm shooting, and it was just a little bit ultra tiny on the annoying side of things, but not a huge deal on that. Also, if you want to keep the bag from sliding off your shoulder, you have to flip it over like so. So I'm gonna redo the length item on here so I can have it a little longer. And so, under normal circumstances, you might consider carrying it like that, but really that's really slick. And so you just want to flip that over so you can keep it from slipping off, which in one regard is not a bad solution. It's just not something I would have initially thought of. And you can see my results on those thoughts in the original video. I really do like also the little tripod holder. This is the tripod I took with me last year. I'm going to be taking a different tripod this year, so it doesn't do that much good to have a tripod holder there because I'm going with a bigger tripod. This was fantastic, of course, for the nice portability that it has, but still didn't care for it. Nice access this way. You can pull your stuff out. A little bit maybe difficult to get a 5D Mark IV out of here. Last year I was shooting with a 6D. It was before the 5D Mark IV came out. And then the computer is in the back case here. So a couple things about this back zippered sleeve here. You've got two sections. So you have the outer section in there, and then you got this little extra thing with a little bit of Velcro there that with my 13-inch MacBook Pro, that Velcro is not allowed to contact. But I like to put it in this inner one just for that little extra layer of protection. So when I remove the computer, no problem there. Normally, when I'm out shooting in the daytime, nighttime, whatever, when I'm shooting, the computer will certainly stay in the room and I'll go without it. It just makes it a lot lighter. Problem with this bag, with this current camera setup, it didn't happen with my 6D, but with a 5D Mark IV, when I let this bag go, it just plops over. Don't really care for that. What's going on there is this is a little bit tapered down on the bottom side than up here, and so we have a lot of weight out on the front side. When we have the computer in there, we didn't have that problem, so it's well balanced certainly when we have the computer in there, but I take that computer out and it just falls over forward. So when I put my bag down, I really don't want it to fall over forward, and while the tapering makes it a really sleek design and just looks really good, it just falls over too much. Now it happens to not be falling over now, but I had the strap underneath the bottom of it, so that was holding it up. I really do like this latch system that they came up with. If I can put it all the way down there, that's really secure, it's really convenient, very quick and easy to do. It does leave these as little flaps that can get caught on things. I never really found that to be a problem. So that is a definite plus. I really appreciate the latch system. So just to pull out my gear so you can see what's all in here, 5D Mark IV with a Pro Media Gear L bracket, and then I'm shooting right now, this is what I normally shoot when I travel, the 24 to 70 f4. It also has image stabilization. Underneath that, I've got two of my filters. These are Breakthrough Photography filters. This is going to be the dark CPL and the 10 stop that I have, 10 stop neutral density. I then have a 70-300. And then over here a 1635 f4 also has the IS. And then that's it. There's nothing more in the main compartment. These things can certainly come out and they can be rearranged. And so that's all fine and dandy. But if you remember from the last video as well, I felt, put this little extra piece of foam in the bottom here because it just wasn't thick enough when maybe I'm a little rough with my gear and I just want a little extra padding. So I've actually put some compressed foam down in there and made that work. So it's going to work for us. And then in this front item here, I've got an extension tube, a voice recorder for doing my GoPro videos. This is a nice little self-contained recorder. My Wi-Fi hotspot that's international capable, a regular polarizer, and then nothing else in there. Got 2 batteries, 2 memory cards, and that's it for what's in here. So the last couple of items are the side pockets. So I've got a microfiber cloth stuck into the little side pouch thing that's there, which I found really handy and convenient. And then connected to a tether, I've got other circular filters in this little neoprene pouch. So over-filtered probably, but it's nice. These little extra compartments are a little nice to have there. So I like that. One thing I should also mention, I always shoot with a little day pack on me. So while I've got this, I'm also going to be having this. And this is going to be stuffed with food and other things like that I need throughout the day. So I don't need to worry about things so much with food and whatnot, water, that kind of a thing. But there's one other item in here, actually technically 2, but one other item that I'll plan to take with me everywhere, and that is this little case. So if I had a bigger bag, certainly I could put this stuff in here. This is my GoPro kit. So I've got my GoPro and a USB battery item for charging my phone if I need it. So various mounts, remote batteries for the GoPro. And then this is an item that would stay in the room as well, and that is, this is going to be the power adapter for the computer, the mouse, power adapter for charging the phone with European power plugs. I then also have my backup unit for the computer. So this little Samsung device is a USB-C item that will be my backup item for the computer. So I like keeping these as separate as possible from the computer. So if my computer gets stolen, I still have my backup, still have my images. So that's the main idea on this bag, the Peak Design 13-inch. Definitely a nice bag. I think it's definitely worth the money. It's just, now let's take a look at the other bag that I'm comparing it to, and we will see what you guys think. You can decide once you see the differences between these 2 bags. So here we are with the Tenba DNA Messenger 13. I like this bag. It's a perfect size, just like the other one is a perfect size. That Peak Design is a great size. But this one has just a few things that I think push it over the top for me. One would be the price. It's a bit cheaper than the other one. But there's also a few things where it just is a little more convenient, I think. So I'm going to go a little bit slower through that bag than that other one because, you know, I've already done a review on that bag and you've got another video you can watch that goes into some of that same detail. But let's take a look here and see what we're dealing with on this bag. So first off, as far as the strap is concerned, and I should say, you know, this carabiner is not part of the original deal. I attached that to it. But the strap is removable. I love that. The fact that I can remove this when I'm in a restaurant and I'm sitting there eating my food and whatnot, I always take the strap of my bag and I weave it around a table leg, a chair leg, something that I can weave it through so it's fixed. So if someone were to come up and try and run with it, they're also going to run with a big chair, and that'll slow them down. I'll probably be able to catch them then, rather than just them running with my gear. So on this one, with the backside, the computer is not in this back compartment. So the computer is on the inside compartment, and I do like that a little better. More for some reason, to me, it just feels like it's a little more protected, but maybe I'm just full of hot air. I don't know. But anyway, we do have a sleeve here for some papers, and then there's some dividers in here. Try and get that held up here. You got some dividers where I could put some pens and the like. So that'll be really nice for just some of those little extra miscellaneous items. I'm always saving brochures and receipts and the like, and so this would be just a great place to stuff those, and I really appreciate that right in this bag. It's also got this strap here that allows you to put over the handle for some of that pullable luggage, that carry-on luggage that has wheels and has a handle. That'll slip right over it and it can sit right on top there. I'm not planning on bringing one of those types to this trip, but it is nice to have that for the other trips that I'll be taking where I will have the pull carry-on. The padded section does slide up and down on the strap. It's got some of the non-slip items here right away, so I don't have to worry about flipping it over. If I wanted to, I could take that off. I can't imagine I would, but I could take that off. And then I also have the adjuster for both sides, and this one's a little harder to do. That's not going to budge. But of course, here's another one. It's removable on this side as well. So just the fact the strap is removable, that's a huge plus to me. I really like that. We also have external water bottle holders or other mesh pocket items. I'm gonna love this for my sunglass case. I can just stuff that in there, and I can take my sunglasses case with me and have it nice and convenient right there. Of course, it also holds a water bottle. And on this side, I also have it stuffed with the rain sleeve. That's one thing, it's kind of annoying that they didn't put the rain sleeve tucked in elsewhere, where so many other bags have the rain sleeve just integrated into the pack somewhere else. This one doesn't. You do have a separate rain sleeve. Whereas the Peak design, there's no rain sleeve at all. So at least we do have the rain sleeve here, but it's still one of those things that probably could have integrated it, and would have been better. This does have a pass-through. It's right in the center, so it's super convenient to just get your gear. So I do like that. As far as the front items are concerned, the front flap, that's where I hold my microfiber cloth. And then on this side, I've got the strap for when I'm carrying it cross body, like so. You've got a strap that connects here, and then it'll wrap around and it will connect. I'm just going to go ahead and take it back off. It'll connect over here on this strap, on this little thing here. And so the Peak design also has that, and it's built in on the Peak design. So I do like that on the Peak design better than this solution. So this is not something that I use very frequently. So it's not, to me, as huge of a deal that I have to assemble it each time, as it were, and connect it each time. Additionally, I can move this item around and put it wherever I want. It's not a big deal. But it just tucks away in the front flap, so the few times that I've used this bag, I've never used that thing yet. So I'll probably use it when I'm in Croatia though, pretty sure. All right, one thing where the Peak design is superior is in the latch release. So this one, I do love these little guys. They will just snap on. They're a little bit magnetic type thing where they just will snap on, but if to release them, you have to put them to the side. And that's fine. These are wonderfully secure and they're great. But to open it, it's got what they call the silent Velcro stuff. You pull it down a little bit, and then it's pretty quiet. Whereas if you just rip it regular, it's going to be noisy. I do like the Peak design a little better. It's a little quicker access. This is a more full flap, and because it attaches here at the edges, we're not going to have those little wings flying off. All right, so that folds way open, and then of course here's the computer. And again, this is how I normally would go out and about shooting, and notice that thing is completely solid. I can't even, under just a little bit of jostling, I can't convince that thing to tip over, where on the Peak design I just let go and it tipped over. So I love the fact that this is wider on the bottom. That means I have a little more space, and I'm able to have a nice solid stance there. All right, so let's take the gear out. Same type of situation, of course. You've already seen the camera, so I'm not going to go through any of that again. But I've got the same stuff in the same position, so that's kind of nice. Got the lens here, and the other lens there. All right, the beauty about this, see, it even flipped over when it has nothing in it. The beauty about this is that it came with some extra dividers. And I'm feeling this and I'm like, you know, that's not too bad. Whereas on the other one, I was like, oh, that's just too thin on the bottom. I have to put some more. I'm like, yeah, that's not too bad. But I've got these dividers. I might as well put them in there. So I do like the fact that I can just easily put these dividers way on the bottom and they're stuck there. I have that little extra padding for the lenses. So if I were to jam it down or whatever, they're gonna have a little extra padding. Tons of space. I've got this grid it thing that I failed to put my batteries in here, but you'll remember on the Peak design where we've got this open thing item here with the individual pockets for the batteries and the cards. That's really convenient. That's definitely a nice thing. On this bag, the Tenba bag, I don't have that. So I ended up buying this thing. It's Grid It by Cocoon, and then you're able to just take these elastic straps and put your battery in there. And so that holds the battery nice and secure, and then that just fits right down in this slot here. And so that's one of the other things I wanted to highlight too. Let's go ahead and take that back out. This whole thing, well, shoot, let me look at one more item. Because this whole thing just slides out, I've got an extra stuff area. So there's my extension tube, and then down in here, I've got my Wi-Fi hotspot, my filter pack, that's the neoprene filter pack, and that's all possible because I have an extra place to stuff things because this thing just comes out, and that's glorious. So this could be just a regular satchel, a regular bag that you would use for anything, not your camera maybe. And then it's got this extra flap with more pen items, a little more pockets here that you can do, a zip pocket for some other papers that you might find a little more secure rather than going in the backside. So just tons and tons of little pockets, tons of places to lose stuff. On the back side here, this is where the computer goes. And then this is where it'll hold an iPad or other tablet. So that's kind of nice. If you were to use an iPad that had a fairly thick casing on it, it probably wouldn't go so well in here. So you would want a thin casing to no casing on your iPad. And then finally, here's my recorder, and then a few other, not filled yet, a few other slim pockets. One thing I thought when I first got this bag was, oh, these pockets are just gonna be so slim and so, they're just not gonna hold the stuff I wanna hold. And as I started using it, it just expands and pushes into the direction you need it to go, and it works really well. So this is gonna be the tripod that I'm gonna be using. So as I said before with the Peak design, this wouldn't really go well. This is a Manfrotto 190 Go tripod, and then I've got the Acratech GP ball head on there. So I'm going to be going to Croatia and I'm going to be photographing some of the world's most awesome waterfalls, and that little tripod that I showed you just moments ago definitely wouldn't fit the bill for doing that. Although 12 years ago that tripod fit the bill, but not this time. So this tripod will actually fit in this bag, at least minus the head. So we'll see how it goes with the head on there. And it's gonna, I don't know, it's just gonna be a much better tripod, much better solution. So yes, I'm going with a heavier solution, but I need this for those waterfalls that I'm shooting. So if you have any questions about anything, I certainly invite you to leave some comments down below. Check out the other videos I have on the channel, and if there's any chance that you need some gear to rent for your next vacation or trip, or maybe you're doing a big portrait shoot or whatever, head on over to the website. I got tons of gear available. I'm adding more to my Nikon side, so certainly I started out with Canon, got mostly Canon stuff, but I've got lots of Nikon stuff coming in. So take a look, see what happens there, and definitely reach out. Would love to hear the comments you may have or questions you may have. Let me know how I can help. Until next time, happy shooting.